before we get to 700, I just want to say how crazy it is that during this second half, as Pujols is chasing down 700, that like Pujols looks like vintage Pujols. Like it's like there were some times in the first half of this season alone where he was hitting homers and it looked like he needed every ounce of strength in his body to get the ball barely over the fence, and then he was huffing and puffing around the bases. These home runs that he's hit in the second half, he's just looked like monster Albert Pujols all over again. Like
he's rejuvenated.
Bombs. Yeah, like these homers are way the fuck up the bleachers. Like he's absolutely squaring up, barreling baseballs, and then he's running around the bases in a youthful manner all over again. So
yeah, because he's living on cloud nine, Jared.
Yeah,
that's why.
Yeah.
Like there's no, you just don't write this kind of script, man.
No.
Like, you don't sit down and plan it this way. If you had the opportunity, like Albert, you're just gonna, disappear for a decade. You're gonna go to Anaheim and things are just not gonna be good for like a decade, 10 years, right? And when it's all said and done, this is how we're gonna play it out. You're gonna chase 700, and you're gonna do that in a Cardinals uni on your way to the postseason.
Yeah.
Sound good? Like, what the fuck?
This is the most home runs that Pujols has hit in a season since 2019. He hit 23 that year. He hit 23 in 131 games. He has 21 homers this year in 103 games. So the other thing too, you have to remember, I know that it's easy to forget this now as we're watching what he's done with St. Louis in the second half of the season. But there was, when he got released by the Angels, there were a lot of people talking about Albert like, damn, I hope this isn't it. Like, I hope this isn't how he goes out. I hope someone takes a flyer on this guy. And there were a lot of people in the game that thought that he was done. I remember like Cora was like concerned, like he was upset that Pujols might be done. And it was one of the first games that they were allowing fans back at Fenway. So I was sitting by the Red Sox dugout, and I think the Red Sox were playing. I don't even remember. They might have been playing the Angels. I don't remember, or the Phillies or something like that. So I'm sitting like side by side with Alex, and then the news breaks. Pujols signs with the Dodgers, and I just go, AC. He looks over, and I was like, Pujols, LA, and he was like. Like he was pumped. So like I think that Nolan Arenado, another guy, which was really cool to see Nolan be one of the first to give Albert a huge hug, because he was one of those guys that before Albert was like even like
remember the video that Nolan did.
Yes, so he was like we need to be celebrating fucking yes, that was before. So Nolan. Yes. Before they were even teammates, was like, Albert, you're the fucking best. Like, I hope that he catches on somewhere. Like, and this is
he was doing an interview and like walked off and then like came back, I think, or was like ready to end. It was at the
very end,
and he was like, "Hold on, before we end this, I just got to say something." And like he spoke very heartfelt about Albert, like being his favorite baseball player.
Here it is.
Can I say one more thing? Sure. Albert Pujols, I love you, man. You're one of the greatest to ever play this game, and I hope you get to go out the right way. And I'm just a huge fan, and I hope you hear this one day because you're my favorite player. Thank you.
They're not even teammates at that point.
Dude. Yeah, not even teammates, and that's like because like that's part of the whole script, right? That's part of the whole. I know I don't have a lot of time, which is why I didn't want to like dive all into that shit. But that's part of what I was talking about. You can't write this shit up. Albert basically being welcomed by Arenado unexpectedly. Neither one of them knew that was going to happen, and Albert's just had that kind of impact across the game, where the game's arguably the game's best third baseman is like, hey, dude, I just got to let you know, like from afar. I hope you get to do your thing and retire on your terms. Like the game of baseball, if it's ever owed anybody anything, in Nolan Arenado's eyes, it owes Albert that. And now here Nolan Arenado is helping the storyline just continue to thrive, right?
Yeah.
Like, and he's been able to now have a front row seat.
How cool is
watching
that?
Albert J 700. How fucking awesome is that? I got fucking goosebumps right now thinking about Arenado having his fucking favorite baseball player join his team. And now he's fucking smacking dingers, making ridiculous diving plays.
Yeah.
Helping Albert oh God, dude. It's fucking, I fucking love baseball.
Yeah.
How do you not love baseball?
Yeah. Nolan actually, I think it was the next day. I think the next day hit a homer, reached 30 and 100 on the same swing. All right, here's 700.
Pujols sends one in the air. It's deep to left. Taylor's back at the wall. It's 700. Albert Pujols has joined the 700 home run club.
So that's pretty cool. Like, I mean, when you're Albert Pujols in your final season, and I feel like obviously Cardinal fans would want Albert to have done this in St. Louis, but Dodger fans are really cool about it. They gave him an awesome ovation. He's able to run over to Adrian Beltre. And then I think the coolest part about this is if you were to have, say this did happen in St. Louis, right? And they were going to have like this big ceremony or whatever, like Albert hit 700 and then he crosses home plate. Who would be some of the guys that you would want to like come out on the field to give him a hug first, like as callbacks from his entire career? They're still on the team.
Yeah.
Like they're still there. Like Yachty getting to hug him and like Wainwright
Yachty and
being
Waino.
there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Like they're still fucking there. Like that must be so cool as a Cardinal fan to be like, wow, like we had a fucking run.
It's like, yeah. And it's like a, it's like, like think Wainwright, Yachty, and Albert, like all three young lions, right? Getting ready to set out on their journey through life. And for whatever reason, one lion branches off and he's going to start his own pride. And that's what happened. Albert joined another pride, but he came back in the fold. And now it's like the three brothers are back ruling in their little kingdom, having a great fucking time, man. It's so cool to see. I'm glad that those guys are getting to experience that. That's what the hard work that you put in, that's where you want it to pay off, is in opportunities to experience shit like that. So I'm very glad that those dudes get that.
Yeah. I was also very glad that I was super drunk when it happened. Like we had the watch party on Friday night. Like, I mean, if you can't be there, that was the next best option, I guess.
Sure.
We had like a watch party on Friday night for Red Sox Yankees. Game ended. We saw 699 live. They had that on the TV. And I mean, honestly, I don't know, because that was also an Apple TV game, right?
Yes.
So yeah, Red Sox Yankees was Apple TV, and I think they just left Apple TV on, and it went from Red Sox Yankees to Cardinals Dodgers. So we just kind of like lucked out where everyone was kind of drunk, and then Albert came up and he fucking hit 700. The whole bar went nuts. It was like, it wasn't like being there, but it was very cool to be in a crowd of you're with baseball fans.
There's a great shot of Giants players.
Yeah. Longo, Crawford.
See that?
Yeah.
Watching it happen.
Yeah.
I mean,
they were in Arizona, I think.
Like, dude, like all those dudes, like Albert's like your fucking uncle, man. He's like your big brother. Like he's almost like that father figure in the game, right? He's all of that wrapped in one. Even if you've never met him or played against him, like it feels that way.
Yeah. I don't know if I still have the quote somewhere, but I had it pulled up. He said, I don't have it, but I'm paraphrasing. He said something along the lines of like, it was special that he did it at Dodger Stadium, like where he like found his love for the game again. Basically saying like, fuck my experience with the Angels.
That's so good.
I wanted to run this by both of you. See if you can come together on this one. There are 15 current big league managers who appeared in at least one game with Albert Pujols as a player. Can you name them?
Matheny, Cora, Dave Roberts.
Yeah,
Cora.
Matheny, Cora, Dave Roberts, Bob Melvin.
Matheny. No Bomel.
Nope, no Bomel.
No Bomel.
Kevin Cash.
Sure, Albert
Kevin
was in there in
Cash.
2000. Gabe Kapler.
Gabe Kapler.
Boone.
Aaron Boone.
Yeah. Who else in the?
You said Kotze, right?
Kotze.
Mark Kotze.
I just said Kotze.
Kotze.
Not Scott Service.
Yes.
Scott Service too.
Yep.
Yeah.
July 25th, 2001.
So fucking very early for Albert.
Yeah.
Very late for Scott Service, right?
Mhm.
Okay.
David Ross.
AJ
Yes,
Hinch.
David Ross. David Ross, AJ Hinch, 2002.
Maybe I'll pull up the team so I'm just fucking.
Mm. Yeah, there's- I think, what do you need? 4 more?
Rocco.
No Rocco.
No Rocco.
No Rocco. Did not play in a game together.
Wow. Phil Nevin.
Phil Nevin, 2006.
Craig Counsell.
Craig Counsell, September 7th, 2011.
How many left?
Did
I mean, I didn't just clean that up.
you say Dave Roberts?
I said Dave Roberts.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then it looks like there's one more. No, there's 2 more. There's 2 more. That's 3 more. Sorry, there's 3 more.
Fuck.
Sorry.
Jesus.
There's 3 more. There's 3 more. One of them is going to be pretty tough to get, I think.
Well, just tell us.
The really hard one, Miguel Cairo. Because I didn't even know
okay.
that he took over for Tony La Russa.
Yeah.
I had no idea that happened. Congratulations to Miguel Cairo. I did not realize that. Dave Martinez, August 2nd, 2001. That was also very early. Cairo, Dave Martinez, and David Bell.
David Bell. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Shout out to Alex Meyer for that on Twitter. Alex Meyer 34. He's with he does the Mariners stats. Good follow. Good follow if you're a fan of America's team. Great follow.
Yeah, it is crazy just going back to Albert Pujols' first team. Mark McGwire. He's playing first base.
Yeah.
Matheny. Matheny was catching.
I mean, Albert Pujols was playing baseball pre 9/11. So that's like a completely different world. Like if you were in the big leagues before 9/11, it's like you know a world that's just not the world that we live in today. He was playing in the big leagues at that point. So congratulations, Albert Pujols on 700. It was a fun ride. I think, it was another one that it was kind of how I described the Aaron Judge pursuit of 61 this year. It's a little bit different. It's a little bit different because what I said about Judge was more or less that he got on that pace early and continued on that pace until he eventually got there. He's one shy. With Albert, I think in the second half, like basically you start the second half and he starts just massacring baseballs and then everyone's like 700, 700. So the pursuit of 700 became very real. And I think baseball fans were just very much along for the ride the whole way, which was really
because you
cool.
have the ending. You have the ending in sight. The ending has been written.
Yeah.
In terms of,
But he also said,
is
if
he
I
coming
don't
back?
do
Is
it,
he-
if I don't do it, I'm not coming back next year.
And
Do you
know what,
believe
Jared?
him? Do you believe him?
Well, I'm gonna do this. What I'm going to say is that was coming from an Albert Pujols at the beginning of the year who hadn't hit near the home runs that was getting him closer to 700. That didn't come from an Albert Pujols who had just hit 697 and
I
felt
think so.
all the energy. That didn't come from an Albert Pujols who could have potentially been stuck on 699.
Yeah.
That's not who it came from. So
Yeah.
if you're telling me that Albert sits on 699 and doesn't come back, I'm sure there's probably 5 teams off the top that would just go, hey, buddy, you don't even have to show up to spring training. All right? We've got St. Louis on the schedule. Just just be ready to get 15 at bats that series. All right? Be ready for that. Well, you're on the team. And then we'll trade you back to St. Louis. You can retire a Cardinal. Like, we don't care. Just please come back and hit 700 and fuck it. We'll even allow you to superimpose a Cardinals uniform on all the merch if you want. Like, we'll talk side deal, obviously, because we're going to need some flow for that. But
Yeah.
by all means, let's just make this happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm glad we don't have to do that. I'm glad we don't even have to entertain that.
Yeah, me neither.
But that was part of the whole pursuit, and why it was intriguing is because 700, you're racing the clock, man. You're racing the calendar.
What if Albert Pujols goes home this offseason? He's like, well, I mean, Babe's only 14 away. I mean, I can do 14. I just did 22.
No, because then when does it stop?
It doesn't.
Doesn't have to.
Yeah, it doesn't have to, brother.
Then you got old fucking Henry Aaron in the sights, right?
Yeah, sure. Who cares?